the last thing we have to do on our campaign show component is make sure that there's a link at the very bottom that the user can click to look at all the outstanding requests that have been created for this particular campaign. Remember that we already discussed the structure of the link for this new page. We had said that a user should be able to see a list of all those requests if they go to campaigns, the address, and then requests. So let's put a new button into our campaign show component that will take a user to that URL. Here's our campaign show component. At the very top, I'm going to import the link tag that we have already worked with once before from our root routes.js file. So at the very top, I will import link from up two directories, routes, like so. We also want to show a button for this link. So let's also import button from semantic UI React as well. All right, so now we can go down to the bottom of this file and find our render method. Inside of there, I'll find the column that is currently being used to display our render cards function. So here's render cards right here. So right underneath that list of cards, we want to show our link. So I'm going to make sure that I put this new button inside of this column. So right underneath this thing, I'll put on a new link. Remember that whenever we define a link, we have to specify the route that clicking on it will take our user to. So I'm going to specify a route with a ES2015 template string. Remember, backticks. We'll do campaigns / this.props.address. That's the address of the current contract we are looking at, / requests, like so. And then inside of here, we'll place an anchor tag and a button inside that. I'll give it the primary attribute so that it appears nice and blue, just like all of our other buttons. And I'll give this a text view requests, like so. All right, so I definitely am thinking that this link is going to work correctly. I definitely suspect we're going to get the link to show up on the page, and if we click it, we'll go to this URL. The only problem is that we have not yet actually defined this URL inside of our application. So we need to open up our routes.js file and define a new route inside that, and then create an appropriate component inside of our pages directory to show that list of requests. So inside of my pages directory, I'm going to find the campaigns folder. Now, you might be thinking, all right, we have campaigns, here's how we make a new one, and here's how we show one. So you might be thinking that we're going to create a separate directory also inside of pages called requests. And then we'll put our component to show all the requests and create a new one inside that folder. But we're going to actually create that request folder inside of campaigns so that we more closely follow the pages structure of a Next.js application, where usually the names of our folders are used to determine the actual URL or the route that we're trying to visit. So all I'm saying is that we're going to put this new request folder inside of the campaigns directory rather than the pages one. So inside of campaigns, I'm going to make a new folder called requests. And then inside of requests, we're going to eventually create two separate components. One is going to be used to show a list of all of our requests, and the other will be used to show a form to make a new one. So inside this request directory, I'm going to first make an index.js file. So index.js seems to is being used here to indicate that this is going to show a list of requests to the user. Then inside of here, we'll make a class-based component and just put a little bit of dummy JSX on the screen so we can at least make sure that this request route is working. So I will import React and component from React, and I'll make a new request index page that's going to extend component. We'll set up our render method. From inside there, we will return, how about just an H1? Actually, what? That's crazy. Let's do an H3. H1's too big. We'll say request list. And then finally at the bottom, we will export default request index, like so. All right, let's now go back to our routes.js file and make sure that we set up a dynamic route to watch for anything that looks like campaigns / an address / requests. So back inside of routes.js, I'm going to make sure that I remove the semicolon at the end of the current last .add statement. And we're going to chain on one more .add. So this one is going to be /campaigns/address/requests. And if anyone goes to this path or this link right here inside of our application, we want to show them the component that is located at campaigns requests index. So campaigns requests, and then finally index, like so. And I'll show you that entire line. Just make sure it's all, let me zoom out just for a second, just to make sure it's all legible. All right, so there we go. So let's now test out this new button and this new component that we just created inside of our browser. So I'm going to go back over to my application. I'm going to first do a hard refresh here to make sure that all those new routes get loaded up. Now you'll notice right away that we appear to have no margin between the button and the card right above it. So we got a little bit of a styling issue. We'll come back to that in just a second, but first let's click on this link and make sure that it actually works. So if I click on the link right here, it eventually shows me the text request list. Cool, so I think that's working out the way we expect. Now let's take a quick pause right now. We'll come back to the next video and we'll make sure that we've got a little bit of margin between this last card and the button that's right there.